New York State is fourth in the nation for the 60-plus population, with older residents paying over $72 billion per year in state and local taxes. This vital, very special population is booming. 4.6 million New Yorkers are over the age of 60, and by 2030, this population is expected to reach 5.3 million. Seniors are more than one-third of the population and increasingly diverse, yet there are elderly people sinking lower into poverty each year. Seniors are the driving force for the economy, cultural life, and the volunteer base, yet they are struggling to afford housing, transportation, the rising costs of medication, and so much more. Seniors are the largest voting bloc, yet they feel invisible without a strong voice in our budget. Director Olsen, we await the master plan on aging, but according to the preliminary report, there have been 351 total members representing all stakeholders and over 400 meetings. An additional $1 million is allocated in the proposed executive budget, and we allocated $1 million last session to support its mission. What are the recommendations coming from the master plan, and what are the additional allocations in the executive budget proposed for? And can you tell us which of the 10 foundational pillars outlined in the preliminary report are supported by this proposed additional funding?
Well, thanks, Assemblywoman. That was a lot of questions, so I'll try to answer them, and if I forget any of them, you can let me know. First and foremost, I appreciate the question. I like you citing the data, because that's our data we've been putting together for the last 13 years to show, again, the value of the older adult population. We've often think of, because we're culturally taught this way, that older adults are frail, they're a drain on resources, they take more than they give, and they don't give back, and that's not true. So I appreciate you talking about that. So do you want me to start with the MPA? Because I think Commissioner McDonald spoke of that yesterday, and my answer is really the same as his. The executive order has laid out that the final report, which is, again, just the first report, right? This is a short, a medium, and long-term plan over the next 10 years on how we help older adults and their families age, because you begin aging the day that you're born, not when you turn a certain age. So, we are on track to have the final report with the interim reports that were done. There were 2 of them on time, which is the spring of 2025. So that'll be coming shortly. I can't go through what the recommendations are. These came, I think you cited 370 people that were involved. It was a lot more than that. There were 500 plus stakeholders among many committees and subcommittees that spent a lot of time using their expertise, whether they be...
So because we're limited on time, I'm just going to direct my question. So there's additional funding that's requested. Can you justify what it's going to be used for?
So if you're talking about the $1 million in the budget, that's not implementation money. That's for us with the Health Department, Department of State, and the other agencies to do the work. So that will continue. A couple of things, because the MPA is not designed to be a part of the budget, but that will be presented for you guys. We're just coordinating the recommendations. But I could tell you, the number 1 recommendation was an increase in funding in the New York State Office for Aging. That is in there. Another recommendation that has already been implemented is a older worker office, which we launched with the Department of Labor in September. So there's things like that in there. They're not designed to be together, but they will be at some point, because you guys will be engaged to review what those recommendations are and then how to move forward. We look forward to that.
Thank you. Area agencies on aging have reported being unable to advertise the availability of their services due to an inability to meet the demand. How much of an investment would be needed to address waiting lists?
The exact amount that was put into the budget this year. So we baselined the $10 million legislative ad last year, $35 million to address the current wait list as reported by the counties in September 2024, plus an additional $5 million in COLA money, which funds the same types of services.
According to the latest data on your website, the long-term care ombudsman program does not meet its program goals. 10% of the facilities received no visit. 82% of all the facilities did not receive a weekly visit. Which is the goal? What is the goal of the program if we're not meeting these needs? In New York City, the problem is even worse. Only 2.4% of all the facilities revived a weekly visit. Why has the state not provided enough funding for this program to even get close to the stated program goals?
So fortunately, Assembly Member, I have some of my communication staff here. Those numbers are not updated at all. So what you'll see in the budget is $6.19 million, but there's several other funding sources that we use to bring it up to a total of 10.2. We've had and what that money's used for is our network was really organized around volunteers. We are way beyond that now, especially with LitCop and the HICAP program, Health Insurance Counseling. We've gone from 57 full-time staff in 22 to 101. That's a 74% increase. 81% of facilities received at least one visit each quarter. That's up from 24%. 94% received at least one in a year, up from 63%, and we've doubled the number of visits to 22,000. This is a federal program. You would be stunned to see what type of support, not only in the long-term care ombudsman program, but through our general services, of the lack of support we get from the federal government, where then the state and the counties and others, private fundraising, have to step up and try to provide these funds. This is the start of the budget process. I know this will be an issue that will be debated and talked about, and we look forward to being a part of that.
So this latest data was taken straight off of your website?
Yeah,
So
no, I heard
maybe
you say that. We'll make sure that it's updated, but I can provide you with any updated information, and we'll make sure that we update the site.
Thank you.